Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is Not a Pro Gardener here. Today, we're out here in the garage plot. It's kind of to the side of the garage, so it does get some shade. I'll show you here in a minute. But we're going to be doing today, as you can, maybe you can hear it, but the bees are out this morning because it's 57 degrees outside. The wind still kind of has a chill to it, but other than that, it's a beautiful day, and we're supposed to have a couple more days of rain after this, and then it's supposed to get back down to like the 20, 30, or 30 degrees or something like that again. It's supposed to get cold a little bit and then warm back up, supposedly. So, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to show the state of our cover crops that we did in our gardens, and we're going to show how they did, and we're going to talk about it. Then we're going to show how the raised beds are doing. We're going to show how the greenhouse is doing. We're going to talk about all all the things we're doing here and show you what they're doing at this moment and how they're holding up. So, excuse my voice today. I got a little junk going on in the sinuses, but we're going to go ahead and get this knocked out and show the update of how everything's doing since we got a nice warm day. So, let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, guys, so as you can see, hopefully you can kind of see, we are well above where the greenhouse is down there. That's where my other in-ground plot is. This one's way up here on a hill. As you can see, we still got a lot of moisture up here. Everything's been frozen for a while. So this is the state of this cover crop right now. Take a walk out here and show you the components of it. Still got some of this rapeseed coming through. These guys haven't got very big because it's been so cold on them. And we got some of that hairy vetch coming through still. And then a lot of this winter rye and stuff that kind of didn't get killed off by the frost is still in there, surprisingly. Still in here, doing its job. So, it's not as big as I would like it to be, but it looks like it's going to serve its purpose. As you can see, this part of the plot is shaded, which looks like this side did better in growing anyway, even though it's being shaded in the morning. But this plot up here stays warmer than that plot down there, and it warms up earlier than down there as well. This plot gets a lot more wind through here and sun and stuff. And as you can see, there are a few weeds maybe popping up, like right here, stuff like that, that need to be suppressed. So that'll be why we do the tarp till method. Well, minimal till, but eventually, in a month or so, we're going to cover this and maybe plant some sweet corn up here. We'll see what we can do. Just kind of depends on our situation. So let's go ahead and talk about the other plot. All right, so we're going to uncover this plot, and we're going to take you in close and show you the state of this one as well. And I believe this one's been covered for about 4 to 5 weeks roughly. Usually, we've had a really hardy cold winter here. So the stuff underneath probably won't be broke down as far as I'd like it to be, but that's not a big issue. Usually we need just about 2 weeks of that warm weather beating down on them, and that really helps the breakdown process. So let's go ahead and take a look and see the state it's in halfway through. Okay, so as you can see, everything's dead. And the feel that this has to it, you can tell that it's dead. I mean, it's definitely starting to break down. It's all yellow. I'm sure I could pull the roots up if I really wanted to. Still got that hard clay soil under there, but this definitely helps, that's for sure. So, we got this guy breaking down like we want to, which is really good. It kind of feels like that wilted lettuce whenever it dies. It's definitely on its way. So now I would say probably three or four more weeks probably is about how far we need to let this go. And by then my onion should be just about the right size. So in another 2 weeks, I'm going to take the tarp off and look at it. The good thing is we got about a week of warm temperatures coming up, so that'll help break it down even further than what it is, which is good. It's definitely what you want. And whenever we're about 2 weeks away from transplanting our onions, if it's not broken down enough, we might till it in, and then we'll be able to tarp it back again, kill the weed seeds that sprout, and then plant our onions and stuff like that. So far looking pretty good. I'd say it's pretty well broken down in the process. And this is that overwintering mix we got from Green Cover Seeds. As you can see, we're going along smoothly. So let's cover this back up and go check on the good stuff. And these are how the onion transplants are faring right now. They look kind of yellow from the sun beating on them, but they're actually not too bad. They're about 4 weeks in, so they're about half grown for me. And they were recently watered, so they look pretty damp, but I got them out in the sun and the wind, so they ought to dry out. That'll be nice. The raised bed over here, this guy that I put chicken manure compost from our chickens and their bedding and everything that's under their coop breaks down nice and gently in here, so that's good topping. It's turning out really nice. That'll be a good addition. Then all I got to do is fill it up a little more with some topping compost or peat moss, whatever I can get a hold of. I'd say these things are going to be a great addition, and I hope to make many more of them, maybe a long rectangle-ish looking one. I got some ideas for that as well. Let's check out the greenhouse. Boy, is it hot in here. Whenever you got these straight full sun days, it gets really hot. As you can see, it's 97 degrees in here. My experiment onions are still kind of in here, chugging along. These are also my backup plan. If I have problems with my other onions, I can still have some onions to plant. And these onions we got in here were definitely about empty in the greenhouse. All these cold season stuff we seed started could be outside at this temperature, that's for sure. So eventually we're going to take this back out, and we like to seed start our tomatoes indoors. So eventually I'm going to move these, the heat and mat setup I got for indoors, which is why it looks like that. And I'm going to bring another pallet back in here, and eventually we'll be seed starting some brassicas and stuff. We'll get all that stuff in another video and talk about it. That's definitely coming up though. What I'm most interested in is my asparagus patch here. I'm hoping that -5 degrees for about 3 days didn't kill these guys off, but we'll see. Hoping that I still got all my, I think I got about 45 left. So 45 plants I put in 25 purple ones and 25 of the, I think Mary Janes or something like that, the green ones. So hopefully those all still come back this year. I'm sure that's right there where the greenhouse is at. It's going to be a little shaded on them, so it's going to stunt some of that growth, but we'll see. As you can see, this is what that cover crop looked like before I tarped it. Nice and green. Pretty hardy stuff if it lasted through that 5-degree weather. Alright, now we're going over here to the raised beds, see what they're doing. Here soon I'm going to tarp this, cover all this up. Probably throw some compost or something in there to top it with for another year. Get all this green carrots and stuff dead, start them breaking down. Now these guys, I'm pretty proud of this. This is the first year I've grown lettuce throughout the winter. I worked pretty hard on these guys to get them to grow out throughout the winter. I mean, it's hard because the daylight time is different and the cold keeps them from growing as fast, but in my opinion, it ain't quite worth it for me because this is all I got out of it. I haven't really been able to harvest them yet. They're not really to size. And if it warms up too much, they're going to start bolting and seeding and stuff like that. So eventually that's going to come. So I'm going to have to harvest them small, turn this bed over for what's coming next here in about 4 weeks or 5 weeks. As you can see, the beeswax piston, that black rod there, is opening this because it's plenty hot outside. So I opened the other doors to get some more ventilation in there. Looks pretty good though. Got bit back by the frost the other night. Accidentally left these doors open. What a mistake. And this bed here, definitely got to do some weeding. I was hoping to top this with some other stuff as well. Cover up all these extra seeds that may be coming in here, but once I weed this and get it turned over, it won't be as bad. All right. Now this bed here, it's pretty solid. I mean, when I move it around, I don't feel like it's going to fall over or anything, which is still pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy about this. That chicken compost in there with some native soil. Nice and crumbly, it's perfect. It ain't quite sunk down a lot just yet, but in my experience, as you see this bed behind it, how it's down about 4 inches. I started out with this one being full. This bed used to be full to the top, and in 2 years, 2 to 3 years, I think, it's pretty much dropped down that much, which is a lot. So keep that in mind. Eventually we're going to get some more stuff, top these off and get these guys ready to plant, and we'll talk more about that stuff when the time comes. But this is kind of what they're looking like now. I'd say pretty solid. This one could be a little more full, but the benefit of these is I can just pull this ring up, scoop all this dirt up, put it in some bags, and move it wherever I want to. All in all, you guys can see how everything's doing in my garden, the state it's in after this winter we're having. And I believe we're going to have probably some more winter weather coming through, but I mean, this week has got some warm weather coming through, which is what we need to help finish this breaking down process in this plot here with the tarp. Whenever we had those -20 weeks and that -5 3 days, that was pretty rough. I mean, when it's that cold, the microbial activity doesn't really want to get going. It's just kind of dormant. But I mean, it slows things down. It really slows things down. And that's why we need this little bit warmer weather to get these worms and that microbial activity under there to break that stuff down. And the more that it breaks down, the better it is for us, because that means the less work I got to do. If it breaks down completely, I'm going to do some minimal till. I don't want to really till the whole plot, because I'd like to save that mat of growth as a weed mat barrier, because I could leave that and it would help cover the top of that soil as well. But it's probably not going to happen. I'm probably going to end up having to till it, but we will see when the time comes. I hope to take you along on that journey, and we'll find out together. Go ahead and leave it in the comments below what you guys are going to be doing next and how you're going.